G'day and welcome to the video. It's time for hard survival run number 8. I'm starting to get really good at this create new world screen. We're still with the same mods that we had last time, which is system and baseline. Other than that, the rules and setups remain the same. With hopes high, we spawn into a giant spruce biome and a stony shore. Well, it looks like we won't be hurting for timber anytime soon. And who knows, perhaps the biomes are small and there's something more appealing across the water. Standing on the shore I see an oak, but the rest of the view is lots and lots of spruce. Carving out the stone immediately around the spawn, and there's a really nice surprise. Ore! Taking a little walk along the shore, it gives me a lot more ore to dig out at surface level. It turns out there's little more than a small peninsula up this way, but a lava pool isn't bad, nor is a small forest biome with oak and birch forming. A lot more spruce over there on the far shore, but right in front of me is sheep. There's no village or anything, but I've got timber choice, lots of ore, and I should be able to get enough seeds to secure my food supply, all on the morning of day 1. Now, if I want a nice grassy surface around my base, and I don't have silk touch yet, I'm going to have to wait for it to spread and help it along. And the nearest spawned grass is, well, all the way over here. And so are some puppies. So I start the process of encouraging it from over here to over there. Yeah, very stylish. I plant some crops at the top end of the grass path and start to think about the resources I'll need to actually build the base that I have in mind. I mean, I have an idea about what I'm going to build, and I'm fairly sure it's going to have to be made from concrete, as that's the only block with the rigidity and colour palette that I need. Well, with all the sand and gravel around the place, it shouldn't be too much of an issue to get concrete. The dyes required? Yeah, well, that's another problem. So, I set out to look. There's clearly a forest biome to the south, which the map backs up, and it even has flowers showing. And, I mean, not that I pay a lot of attention to, or the frozen biome behind it. I choose, instead, to follow the river in hopes it might open out into a lot more choices. I mean, the river canyon's pretty spectacular, but it's still lined with spruce. I mean, there's hints of something else out to the west though. But I'm too busy looking at the environment to really look at the environment. Well, that was a close call. I find some pigs along the way, but more importantly, I'm about to be free of the spruce for a bit as I hit forest. It's time to look for flowers. It's not the open, sweeping plains I was hoping for, but a thinned out forest and some meadow is going to give me lots of options for dye gathering. I've worked my way through the pretty meadow gathering flowers, and now I've hit the plains that I was after the whole time. Oh, and one of the pigs I found earlier gave me a present. I get the first of the colours I'm really after. Red. I'll need stacks of them before it's all done. Oh, and I'll need some white ones too. It's actually really pretty here. Would be good for a base if I wasn't already committed to building where I spawn. Something catches my eye further up the hill, and I'm rewarded with a literal field of red flowers. I gather the last of that lot and poke my head over the little hill to find I've got lots more. Well, that's a great start. No white dyes yet, but I've got the most important one that I'll be needing. Due to the distance I had to travel, it takes a couple of days to get back to base, which I managed to do just as the sun sets. Hey, it's great timing. No white flowers or dye, but the trip was still well worth it. Got lots of red dye and plenty of ingredients for concrete. And I found the odd ruined portal. I've only just started making the concrete, but I'm already sick of it. I mean, even with the concrete hardening pool I've got here. The base plate for the supporting pillar for the base goes in, and the pillar starts to rise. While I do have a reference to use for what I'm building, it's still going to be a lot of guesswork involved for in-game dimensions and layout. I mean, I think I've got the right height for the bottom floor to go in. At this stage, it's mainly to scope the proposed dimensions. And those dimensions look okay. So I moved my stuff from ground level. It's nowhere near safe or done, but it's safer than staying on the ground. There's not too many clues at this early stage as to what the final design's going to be, but for those who know what it became, it already looks like it's on the right path. Did you know that concrete powder doesn't harden in the rain? Well, prior to this, neither did I. I stood here looking at stubbornly dry concrete powder for way too long. And the next fine sunny day, I'm off for more concrete resources. And to see if I can't find a stable source of white dye. It takes a couple of in-game days of exploration, but as I round this hill, I'm greeted by a wonderful sight. A large number of lily of the valley. Having cleared out that first lot, I'm making my way back to base in a circular path and find another large field of them. With the base horizontal dimensions set, I'm going to pillar up into this corner to see if my vertical dimension estimates are, well, even remotely close to being right. Not the smartest thing I've done, nor the dumbest. Close, but not quite. Now I'm stuck at Y121 on a single block. And I know the dirt in the farm is at Y66. I don't think I'll get enough speed to make the ocean from a standing start. And don't forget that if I die, that's it. It's game over. Oh well, fortune favours the stupid. Haha, now that was an MLG clutch. I double placed, hence the water disappeared straight away. But I was so happy I forgot how to spell. I also couldn't believe I got that close to actually making the water. And now for the whole reason I was up there. The corner frame doesn't look, well, too bad. I mean, it might be a bit tall for the final build, but yeah, no, it's looking okay. It's a bit smarter to use stairs to reach the upper build levels. You mean, I probably should have started with that. And now it's time for the first bit of contrasting colour. That white dye has become white glass panes, and it starts adding to the build. And it's the big reveal. I've been building out to the top. From this side it says post. I've been building a red box on a stick that says post. Adding in some white concrete helps give a pop to the overall design and helps line it up better with what the real world object looks like. Though I do have to say that corner pillar looks a bit optimistic for the overall height now. Hardening concrete as I place it can lead to the, well, occasional internal waterfall nightmare. Especially if I don't have a torch in my offhand and the bucket in my main and try to place a torch. Right, with a bit of adjustment, this is my new max height for the build. Give or take another 5 blocks or so for the arch top. Alright, I've now got the rectangular spider holder, or mouse slot as it's supposed to be called, scoped out. The difficulty with building that particular design element is getting the angled elements looking, well, okay at this build scale. After bringing down my initial corner pillar to the new max height, I check how it's going from ground level. And you know what? It's looking quite good. I'm getting really paranoid about falling to my doom from the upper levels of the build, so it's time to frame out some internal floors. Which also has the added benefit of helping me work out what sort of usable internal space I'm going to have when it's all said and done. It's a little messy and the mail slot isn't quite finished, but it's enough to give an idea of the scale of the build and how that internal space might get used. This mail slot is probably the most complex part of the build so far. And in the real world design, the top part of the slot doesn't follow the arch top either. Instead, it sticks out with like an angled flat top, which is just going to add to the difficulty of getting the look right at this scale. Okay, so I've got the slot mostly right now, and I've made one change to the original design. I've installed a grey handle. In the real world, the real one is red. And the last couple of concrete blocks are hardened, and now the mail slot and its special roof are complete. It's annoying how close concrete powder acts to sand. Well, at least it's given me a better appreciation for the use of formwork in real-world concreting. You know, an MLG bucket is only useful if you actually use it. Well, it's now time for more walls. I'll start with the back wall since it will have the same general design as the lower third of the front wall, but then it'll go solid red straight to the top of wall height. It also lacks the curved and angled elements, so it's a good anchor for the side walls. After a quick ground level check, and I'm impressed with how it's going. There's no curves in the build yet, so I'll hold off for the celebration for now. It's also missing 3 walls and a roof, as well as most of the internal flooring, but the view from this specific spot is really nice. Okay, the lower third of the back wall is now done. It's all red from here on up. Now, if I extend these internal floors, it'll help me reach those concrete extensions for the back. It's also going to mean a far shorter distance to fall when I inevitably fall from a higher work surface, such as I'm about to demonstrate right now. A problem with my system setup means that I've bound the left shift key to my microphone mute, and so keep falling out of my boat every time I mute my microphone in game. That's a straight up operator error. I'd planned this trip as a village finder and a resource gathering one, but I'm content to just sit in here and admire these spectacular cliffs. Okay, on this little trip it's taken almost 30 minutes of exploration, with the odd ruined portal and acacia tree harvest, before I find my first village for the game. Even better, it's right on the water, so I'm going to have a fairly easy time convincing some friends to come back with me. Alright, from this angle the base doesn't look nearly as nice as it does from the front. Alright, I'm working on putting in more flooring, and that is so not an MLG clutch. And I've decided that it's not called flooring anymore, it's now known as a safety splat. And now a view from the lesser seen rear side of my pocked box, my poet box, my post box. That S is so badly made. And it's back to front. That's poor font choice by me. I made my choice to use birch flooring, and I'm sticking to it. It's just really hard to get enough of it in this biome, even with my plantation. My sense of self-preservation hasn't worked yet. So why does it start now? And that is a really decent drop. After all my effort to try and find decent biome distribution, it's a village on the edge of the map which gives me the goods. A lot is done on the base, but there's still plenty of work to go. The very top of the arch in place, I give it, well, a red glass ceiling, mainly to keep the aesthetic, and for the light. Since everything's going to be inside for this base, I'm going to have to turn one of these floors into my food farm. My first problem is that my design space means that I've got to put in an 8x8 field, when all my prior farms are based on a 9x9 design. That looks safe. I make a mess of the first water bucket placement somehow, but it works the second time? Ah, that's what happened. Well, I hope it's not washing away my crops. Now this is a really poor idea, but if I don't stop to think about it too much, it doesn't seem that stupid. Just because you survive, it doesn't mean it was a good idea. Well, it's raining outside and I'm farming inside. Nice and dry on my adjusted fields. I mean, logically it's not all that different to my underground farms, but it just feels really unique. I'm getting a bit overconfident with this rapid departure method. I am sure it's not going to end too badly for me. And now the difficult part of this side is looking, well, pretty decent for a wild set of guesses. The arch looks reasonable, and the logo is recognisable. I really can't ask for much more at this stage of the build. Well, more use of my rapid departure system, and more development of the side logo. The problem now is, as the radius decreases, it gets harder to get enough of a decent curve inside the logo and make things look, well, proportional. I'm almost 10 hours into my world here, and I'm just now setting up my permanent water supply in my base. Priorities. Okay, I've made some more refinements, and well, I think it's about as good as I'm going to get for now. And I've got to build it on the other side too. After 10 or so hours in this world, you'd think that there's no big surprises left around base. Well, you'd be wrong. At least I was watching where I was walking this time. Hey, a fox! I wonder what it's got for me today. And if I can convince it to give it to me. You're not a fox, but I'll remember where you are for later. Oh, the little guy's fast asleep. I'll leave him be then. With a mostly completed side to copy from, the back logo doesn't take too much time to put in. And it has the benefit of making the base feel, well, really, more base-like now. I'm a tick over 10 hours into this world and I haven't really had any hostiles to deal with. Until now. Those pillagers down there are going to have to be moved on. Or else they're going to be a problem when I, well, inevitably fall out of my base. I mean, I can accept that I haven't blocked an arrow yet. But again, 10 hours plus to the first hostile kill? Well, that seems a bit excessive. And finishing off the remnants of that patrol gives me a nice 3/4 aspect view of the base. There's still work to be done, but it doesn't seem to be too far from being completed. And this base exit strategy is going to be my undoing at some point. But that point isn't now. Speaking of enemies, it really helps if I actually use the shield I'm actually carrying in my hand for once. The next big milestone for the base is reached as I complete the 3rd wall. The next major development is putting in the postie door that the postie uses to get all the mail out. This first iteration is way too short and narrow compared to the rest of the build. Version 2 is good for height, but still way too narrow. Okay, I think I have it right now. Or at least the part that makes the walls right. The left wall is good, as is the back wall, and the front, and it's closed off. I mean, the door's going to need some sort of handle and hinges, but I think we're mostly there. To celebrate the base being mostly built, I get myself a puppy, who manages to teleport up to me. This is the first time I've been outside at night since the early stages of the build, and it really doesn't look too bad. I mean, maybe a little out of place in this environment, but it is nice. Handle? Great. Hinges? Not so great. Much better. And the external part of my base is now complete. That means I can start focusing on all the things I should be doing, like farms, trading, mining, beating the game, all the little things. I'm going to start by putting my mine level under the bottom of the support pillar. And since there's surface water close by, I'll also use it to bring in my villager friends and farm animals through a dock. The first thing I hit in the mine is a narrow cave, which leads into a lush cave. Now, I wasn't expecting that at all, but hey, look, it's a really nice surprise. As is the ton of ore. Leaving the mines for a while, I've come back to the village to get some friends to bring back. It's always nice to see them put themselves into holding. You can be my friend. Getting him back to base, and I forgot a fence gate to hold the new friends in place. This will keep him safe for now. A second villager friend joins us, but he's more interested in just hanging out in the water for now. Well, they're both safe, which is the important thing. Continuing my work in the mines, and I'm momentarily surprised by cobble that, well, I hadn't placed. Well, clearly it's a spawner of some sort, and it turns out to be a spider spawner. Out the other side of that spawner, the small lush cave I'd been digging through opens out into a large, if sparsely filled, semi-lush cavern. I'm at bedrock without any further surprises. Now, it's time to set out the branches for the mine. With that job done, it's back into the depths to look for diamonds, starting from the lowest level and working my way back up. And it's not long before I find the first diamonds to mine, at bedrock level. I soon have a couple more, and by the time I'm finished down here, I get 5 total. It's not great, but it's enough for my initial needs. The next priority was getting a nether portal established, but I'd never really planned on where to put it, and my internal floors are just a little bit too close to each other. I end up placing it right up the top, backing onto the mail slot handle. With a fence in place to catch any visiting mobs, I'm ready to go. The portal's lit, I have my gear, it's time to step through. And I arrive into a crimson forest. Now, it's not the worst, but I really detest the hoglins that like to live in them. This isn't the prettiest nether safe room, but it's enough to keep the hoglins away from me and let me come and go in peace. There's no immediate hint of structures, but the Soul Sand Valley should give me what I need for my bubble elevator in the overworld base. I remedy my lack of cobble by flattening a nearby hill in the overworld, and soon have enough to fix the timber patchwork in the nether. Though it turns out it is far easier to dig when you actually hang on to the pick. Back in the nether, I'm being so brave around these danger piggies. I hate them almost more than any other mob. I just wish those piglins would come over and help. I'm bravely building my covered walkway when I'm reminded that, well, the hoglins can reach me through the open windows. How rude. Okay, I think that's more than enough bravery for now. Okay, with glass panes in the windows to protect me from scary hoglins, I keep pathing north, looking for that Soul Sand Valley. And I break through! right above a lava sea. Right as I'm getting demotivated about all the work and danger associated with bridging this sea, I realised there might be a small soul sand valley nearby. I managed to get the soul sand I was after, so it's back to the overworld. I placed my soul sand block and my bubble vader is now officially under construction. Alright, we can skip the next significant stretch of gameplay as I fail spectacularly to get a simple bubble vader working. And I got rid of the kelp I was using way too early. I mean, I could have just pretended that I knew what I was doing. But now that I really have fixed it, it's time for some brave pioneers to test it out. My villagers would be perfect for that task. With just a gentle nudge and he's away. Somewhere. Will you look at that? They both made it up here safely. Since I know the bubble vader is villager safe, it's time for animal testing. They all made it safely. I wonder what it means if I'm unwilling to ride the bubble vader. Surely it wasn't all those near drownings while I tried to work out what I was doing wrong. Nah. Okay, Mr. Piggy, it's your turn. Not everyone makes it to the top on the first go, but I think I found the problem. Because of the unique nature of this base, the villager breeder is unique as well. And both of my test subjects are very reluctant to join the program. My final test subjects for the bubble vader are a couple of cows, which should round out my animal breeding pairs, except for one pig that went missing. I'm reminded that my design choices are having unintended outcomes when an Enderman drops by to say hello. Lower ceilings, that's what I needed. Well, that's plenty of fun and experience in the overworld for now. Back to the nether to see what else I can find. And I managed to explore myself right into a lava pocket. Oh, and my crispy death. Well, according to our rules, that's it for this world. The next one is a hardcore world. We'll see you then.